When we moved here, I had a picture in my mind, 5 fully built gardens, all thriving and beautiful. The English garden, the Mediterranean garden, the tropical garden, even a Japanese garden one day. I thought we'd knock it out quickly, a few years tops, and then just sit back and enjoy. But here we are, 4 years later, and while we've done a lot, there's still so much left to do, and that used to frustrate me. But this property has been teaching me something, slowly, season after season. Not just patience, but something even deeper, that the process of creating these gardens is just as meaningful as living in them once they're done. Today I want to share how this journey, unfinished paths, weedy beds and all, has shaped me, has slowed me down, and taught me to enjoy the doing as much as the outcome. When we first got here, I hit the ground running. I had plans, sketches, Pinterest boards, plant lists. I wanted to see it all built, all blooming as fast as possible. And that first year we were here, we went hard, building raised beds, planting vegetables, laying out the cottage garden, working on the tropical garden. It felt amazing, like we were sprinting toward the dream. But by the end of that first year, I realized something. We hadn't even scratched the surface, and we were really tired. The dream was still there, but the finish line was slipping further and further away. I remember walking around the property one evening, looking at all the blank, weedy areas between the few things that we'd gotten done, and thinking, we should be further along by now. But then I saw the sun setting over the mountains. I heard the birds winding down for the night, and I thought, maybe this is what it's supposed to feel like. Maybe I'm not behind at all. Maybe I'm just in the middle of a bigger story. Gardens are slow by nature. Seeds take sometimes weeks to germinate. Trees take years to grow. Soil takes time to come alive. And when you first start, it's so tempting to rush, to overwater, over-fertilize, overdo everything, just to know something's happening. But the best growth happens when you trust the process and let it unfold in its own time. This was one of my first lessons in patience, that the waiting isn't wasted time. It's where the real work is happening, under the soil where you can't see it yet. Our silk floss tree was purchased and planted 4 years ago this month. For 3 years, it grew very slowly. In fact, in those 3 years, it only added about 12 inches a year. But all the while, it was building its foundation, its roots. And within the last year, it went from about 4 feet tall to about 15 feet tall. It could be 20 at this point. The bananas, well, they're fast. They went from 4 feet single plants to 20 feet huge groups of plants just in a year. But by watching these things happening all around me, while most a lot slower, little by little, I started to realize I actually enjoy this part. The walking out here every day to see what's changed, the anticipation, watching things come together while in my mind, imagining the next steps. The process was fun. I just hadn't slowed down enough to notice. We've had crops fail, designs that didn't work out, plants that died, gophers that killed lots of trees, and every time I had a choice: get frustrated or learn and move on. Some of that has been harder than others. Patience taught me to choose to keep moving forward and keep imagining how things could be better. It's taught me to ask, what can I learn from this? And to see each change not as a setback, but as an evolution. And each time I had to start over or tweak something, it always brought about an idea that was way better than the one that didn't work. The process of building has changed me as much as it has changed the land. This taught me something else. Patience is not just waiting, it's trusting. Trusting that even if things don't go perfectly, they're still moving towards something good. One of the biggest surprises for me has been realizing that I actually like the process of creating just as much, if not more, than having 5 finished gardens right now. Early on, I thought the goal was to get everything built and planted as quickly as possible so I could sit back and enjoy it. But the truth is, some of my favorite memories of this property so far aren't from walking through a perfectly blooming garden. They're from sweaty afternoons with dirt under my fingernails, hauling rocks, one wheelbarrow at a time, from sketching out paths and realizing I had to adjust the plan on the fly, to just sitting in finished areas on a warm summer night and enjoying the sunset over the blank canvas of what isn't finished yet. Always imagining. It's in those moments that I feel the most connected to this place. There's this feeling I get when I step back after a hard day's work, when a new bed is laid out or a tree is planted, and I can see the transformation starting to take shape. It's this mix of pride and excitement, knowing this is just the beginning of that space and what it will become. And that moment is magic. And what if I'd rushed to the finish line? I would have missed it all. If I think about it, gardens are never finished. Viewers have asked, when you fill this place up, will you buy more land? But I know something now that I didn't know when I moved here. The finished product only lasts a moment. The cottage garden may look incredible for a season, but seasons change, plants grow, fade, and sometimes die. We redesign, we move things, we keep creating. The main layout and bones will be complete at some point, but there will always be more detail, more tweaking, and more magic to add, even if I never add to the property's acreage. So maybe there isn't even such a thing as finished. Maybe gardening is more like a conversation you have with the land. And every day, with every decision, you add another line to that story. This shift has been huge for me personally. It means I can take a deep breath and stop worrying about how far along we should be and just enjoy where we are right now. Today's work, the planning, the planting, the dreaming, that's the reward. I don't have to wait until the whole vision is complete to feel joy. And that's been freeing, because now instead of feeling like I'm always behind, I see every season as a gift, every project as a new chance to be creative, every bed we build or path we lay as part of something much bigger, an ongoing masterpiece. And honestly, that's fun. The doing is fun. The process is where the memories are made. We still have a lot to do to even get to the point where what you can see with your eyes matches what has been in my mind since the beginning. But I'm in no hurry now, because I know the joy isn't just waiting for me at this imaginary finish line. The joy is right here today in this moment. So instead of saying, I can't wait until it's all done, now I say, I can't wait to see what we do next. And that next isn't necessarily next year or even next month. It could be tomorrow or later today. There's something freeing about that shift. It makes the work lighter, more enjoyable, because I'm not racing anymore. So maybe this whole journey isn't just about learning patience with the land. It's about learning patience with myself. It's about letting go of this idea that I have to get everything done right away, and instead find the joy in every step along the way. Because here's the truth. The process is the point. The process is where the memories are made. The process is what turns a patch of dirt into a garden, and a gardener into a different kind of person. I've come to realize that gardening is a small snapshot of life. Don't be constantly looking for joy down the road. Look for it today, in whatever today holds. I spent so much time over the years frustrated with where I was, not in gardening, but in life, in my job, in just kind of where I was comparatively to my friends. Looking at social media and realizing I'm nowhere near where my friends are in their careers and their life and their marriage and their raising of their kids. I was behind for many, many, many years. And I was not allowing myself to feel the joy of where I was at the moment because of where I wasn't. or where I thought I should be. And I can tell you, looking back, I just turned 51 this last week. And what I have been able to glean from those years is that you're doing yourself a huge injustice by stamping out the joy that you could be feeling today because you're not where you think you should be. And it might have taken me 50 years to figure this out, but I want to pass that on to you because maybe you're only 30 or less, or maybe you're 70 and still haven't got it yet. And that's okay. We all learn in our own time. But look for the joy today. And whatever today holds, and whatever problems you might be going through, because all those problems are temporary. And once you get years down the road, as I have, you can look back into those times where you thought you weren't where you're supposed to be, and therefore you couldn't feel the joy of the moments of my son growing up, or wherever we were on vacation, or at times when we weren't able to go on vacation. There were still great things happening, but I didn't allow myself to feel that joy because I wasn't where my other friends were. So life has taught me things, but this garden really showed me that patience is a virtue. This property isn't finished yet, and neither am I. And I think I'm finally okay with that. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear what your garden is teaching you right now. Patience, joy, drop a comment below and let's talk about it. I'll see you guys next time.